What if I told you that chefs pickle more than just cucumbers? We're going to pickle red onions today. Stick with us, and we're going to show you how. So it is true that chefs can pickle more than just cucumbers. It's a very, very simple process. Now, pickling is the process in which you preserve a fruit, vegetable, or meat with vinegar and salt. So in this recipe, we're going to use a red onion because of the color and the flavor, but there are tons of different varieties of onions. Red onions, Spanish onions, white onions, sweet onions, Vidalia onions, shallots, chives, leeks, ramps.
What's a ramp, Dad?
Oh, I can't wait to show you because we're going to take a field trip next time and we're going to go find them in the woods. I'm going to show you all sorts of things that we can do with those too. But in the meantime, we're using a red onion. So we're going to secure our cutting board and our onion. We're going to wash our hands. And we're going to meet you there. Let's do it.
Let's do it.
For this recipe, you'll need your chef knife and your little chef knife, right, Xander?
Yep.
You need a scrap bowl, a set of measuring spoons, a small saucepan. This one's about 1.5 quarts. A mason jar or a ball jar or some sort of non-reactive container for the red onions when we do start to pickle them. You want to make sure that your jars are completely rinsed and washed using as hot of water as you can possibly get. And a measuring cup. Mine is a little bit oversized for this, but this is what I have here.
Yep.
For this recipe, you will need 2 teaspoons of salt, you'll need 2 teaspoons of white sugar, you'll need 1.5 cups of water. You'll need 3/4 cup of white vinegar. It can be regular vinegar, or you can also use champagne vinegar or rice wine vinegar. That'll change the end result by changing the sweetness and acidity level. You can adjust that to your taste. Optionally, you can do a 1/4 teaspoon of mustard seeds, a 1/4 teaspoon of black peppercorns, and 1 clove of garlic sliced, root end off. These ingredients are optional and will make the pickled red onions a little bit more spicy and unique. Feel free to use whatever else you want, cinnamon sticks, thyme, bay leaves, anything else that you think might be unique and that you want to try. Let us know in the comments if you've used something extra special in yours. We'd love to hear about it. You'll need 1 medium to large red onion. If you can't find an onion about this size, you can do 2 to 3 small to medium onions as well. Now, Xander is going to take the top end off and the root end off, and then we're going to peel this because we see some blemishes. We're going to get it down, and then we're going to julienne it. Go for it, buddy. All right, Xander did a great job cleaning that up. So now we've got the top off, the root end off. So we're gonna cut it in half. We're gonna take all the skins off. So we don't want all this papery skin in our pickled red onions. Now this one's got a big blemish in it. That happens sometimes. We weren't checking all that well when we grabbed them. We just kind of grabbed a handful of them. So we're gonna just take it down a little bit here. Probably gonna lose 1 more layer there. Yeah. And that will just take that 1 layer off. So we've got those onions there. Clean the skin off the best we can of the board. Now we're gonna julienne these. So there's gonna be 2 ways that we're gonna be able to julienne this. One is with our chef knife, and that is the most common way to do it. It's the one that most people are gonna have at their house. We have another tool called the mandolin, and we can use that to slice really, really thin with a very sharp blade. That is a tool that you can pick up on Amazon for roughly about 30 bucks. We recommend the Brine brand. For this instance here, we're going to use a chef knife, so we're going to julienne the onion. If you haven't checked out that episode where we went through some of the main knife cuts that you're going to see, not only in our videos, but in different recipes, we highly recommend you check that out. If you haven't, we're going to show you how real quick here. So the onion has all of these lines here, and that's what we're going to follow. Now for the pickled red onion, we want to get them uniform. So that's every piece is about the same size, and we want them relatively thin. That will allow the pickling liquid, the vinegar and the water, to completely soak into the onions here. So also as we go, we're going to be tilting our knife a little bit to follow that contour. So it looks a little something like this. Real slow, real nice, real easy. And as you're julienning, again, do you remember what a julienne means?
It means stick or wand.
Yep, it means like matchstick. So each one of these is equal there.
Or it looks bended right now.
Yeah, it looks bent because it is a round object. So there we go. We're going to move through this relatively quick here now. Now, we're going to cut through that blemish there. We're just going to lose that blemish piece there. And we're just going to keep moving. Each piece uniform. Move as slow as you need to make sure that every piece is as equal as possible. Once we get about the halfway point, we're going to flip it over. This will keep these pieces in here, these big flat pieces. It'll keep those julienned as well. It's not going to be a perfect science if your knife isn't sharp. So we highly recommend sharpening your knife before you do this. So, see how it's there. I'm going to flip it over, and then we're going to do the same thing. We're going to use the contour, follow those lines. The last piece is always the hardest. You want to move slow, so that way we keep our fingers safe. What kind of grip do we have on the onion while we do it?
C grip.
C grip.
Thumb in jail like this at all times.
Yep. So one more time. I'm going to move a little bit faster though. Okay.
Lot of onion.
Those last ones are a little bit thicker, but in this situation, I'd rather them a little bit thicker and keep my fingertips. So with a mandolin, you're able to get all of those pieces completely uniform without that last little bit there. Again, do it as thick as you feel comfortable doing. If they are thicker than this here, that's just going to take a little bit longer to pickle. Now that we've julienned our onions and we have all of our spices and seasonings ready to go, our mise en place is set. So we're going to go over to the stove and get our pickling liquid on a high boil to bring it together. We'll meet you over there. All right, so we're over at the stove. Our mise en place is set. Our spices, our salt, our sugar, our water, and our vinegar in our measuring cup. And then we do have a tasting spoon just to give it a little bit of a stir. Now that you have your 1.5 quart pan on the stove, we're going to add our water and vinegar. We're going to add our salt and sugar. And then if you want, this is the point where you will add all of your extra spices. In this case, we're using the mustard seeds, the black peppercorns, and the garlic. Then once all of that is in, you're going to turn your stove on to a medium-high heat to get it up to a boil. As this starts to come up to a simmer and eventually to a boil, you're going to give it a little bit of a stir to help incorporate all of that salt and sugar. This will also keep things from sticking and burning to the bottom of the pan. Once the pickling liquid has come up to a boil, you're going to let it boil for just a second. That'll help steep all of the different spices in if you're using them. This will also help make sure that the sugar and the salt have completely dissolved into the solution or the brine. We'll turn it off. While your vinegar is on the stove coming up to a boil, and you've got your clean, sterile jar, you're going to take and start packing the red onions into the jar. Once the pickling liquid has come up to a complete boil and the salt and the sugar have completely dissolved, go ahead and give it a taste, being careful to blow on it. Make sure it's cool so you don't burn yourself. This is the point where you're going to adjust seasoning to your liking. If you want it a little bit sweeter, a little bit saltier, by all means add whatever you'd like. While that liquid now is still hot, we're going to pour it into our jar over top of the onions. The vinegar and water solution that we have in here with the salt and the sugar is going to absorb into the onions, completely saturating them. I'm going to push it down with our tasting spoon here. Get our spices in if you're using them all the way around. Make sure that the onions, as best you can, are under the liquid as well. That way they pickle. We're going to leave this set out on our counter until it is cooled down, no longer steaming. The color on the onions is going to start to change as that vinegar reacts to the purple colors, the anthocyanin inside of the red onion skin. Once it's cooled, you'll put a lid on it and put it in the refrigerator, and these will actually keep indefinitely in your fridge. The vinegar and the salt and sugar solution keeps bacteria away from the onions itself, and as long as the container is clean and you don't reach your dirty hands in using a clean set of tongs or a fork, these will last basically forever. Now, in our house, they don't last very long at all. We put them on everything from sandwiches, salads, tacos. What else do we put them on, Xander?
We put them on burritos.
We put them on burritos. Yep, we sure do. So these are our absolute favorite pickle outside of an actual cucumber in our house. So we hope that you enjoy these just as much as we do. Please feel free to leave us a comment if you happen to have put something different in your pickled red onions. We can't wait to hear from you. In the meantime, go ahead and check out these videos that are going to pop up on your screen. If you haven't liked and subscribed, we'd love it if you would do both of those things for us. We can't wait to show you more in the next videos. We'll see you in the next one. Bye.
Bye.